All right. And for the last segment of the show, WandaVision. Mike, you want to bail out or you want to talk? Listen.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's cool. Also, the show confuses me, so if you guys explain it while I'm watching it, I'll probably get it better. Especially when Emily explains it.
Yeah.
I mean, episode 4 mostly explains what's going on.
I still need you to explain it.
All right.
And I saw episode 4.
So episode 3 is kind of like we've moved on again. So now we're in the 70s, and it's very much a Brady Bunch style thing, like especially just like the look of the house and everything. And Wanda's pregnancy is rapidly evolving, and she eventually gives birth to twin boys, Billy and Tommy. The other big thing that happens is, what's her name? Is the within the show? Is it Geraldine? Is that her name?
Rambo.
Yeah. But within the show, it's she's called Geraldine, I think. Anyway, she makes a comment to Wanda about, because Wanda like has this weird moment when she's talking about her brother, and Geraldine's like, didn't Ultron kill him? And then it's like, you know, a moment of the reality of the universe inserting itself into the show. And so she freaks out and kind of Scarlet Witch throws her out of the town. And then at the end of the episode, it ends with like her being swarmed by a bunch of like agents and stuff as she lies unconscious in the ground. And we see that there's like this whole like sword built this whole thing up around whatever is happening with Scarlet Witch. And then this episode 4, starts with Monica Rambeau coming back when people came back. And she had been like in the hospital visiting her mother who was sick. And so for her, no time has passed at all. But within the universe, it's been 3 years, because then everybody disappeared, and then it was 3 years and everybody came back. So,
which I thought was very clever.
Yeah, it's a good way to tie in with the Endgame stuff. And in the meantime, like, her mom has died, and then we learn that she is a agent of S.W.O.R.D. And so her mom basically created S.W.O.R.D. And so she's back, but is not allowed to like do any like space missions, because there's this whole like, hey, we don't know what happened to you still yet. And she is tasked with what she thinks at first is kind of a nothing thing of the FBI has asked for assistance with a missing person. And so she's going to go with some S.W.O.R.D. drones and find this person. And then we get FBI agent Jimmy Woo, who was in Ant-Man. I don't know if he shows up anywhere else. He was in S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comics, and then later was agent of Atlas, played by Randall Park. And they are outside the sign to the welcome to, was it Westville? What is the town called?
I think it's Westview.
Westview. They're like outside the little
where are you
sign
from,
to the town.
Eastview?
Yeah, so they're outside the town. And he tells her, like, not only is this guy missing, but when he's called, because this guy was like an FBI, like was in the witness protection program. And when Jimmy's been calling around asking for this guy, nobody even remembers him. And so there's talking to this sheriff who is standing by the sign, telling them that this town they're talking about doesn't exist. And so they fly one of their drones in, it disappears. That's where the little helicopter drone thing from the earlier episode is. But it didn't look like that. Like, it's something that was like sort of like, it looked more high tech. it didn't just look like a helicopter toy, but anything that enters gets sucked into the whole whatever's happening. And so then Monica Rambeau goes up to it, and she also gets sucked in and disappears. That's when Sword sets up this whole thing around it. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Darcy from Thor comes in to help the investigation. She finds out that there is a TV signal coming from it. So the show that we're watching, they're also watching. So it actually is like a TV show. That clip at the end of episode 1 of somebody watching the show, and when the credits roll, that's Darcy. The message that she hears on the radio, that's Jimmy Woo, because Darcy has this idea that maybe they can broadcast in. And eventually it sort of ends mostly where we ended episode 3, with Monica lying on the ground, shot out of this town. But we go back, and it seems very much at this point that this is all Scarlet Witch is doing.
Yeah, I was thinking, this is speculation. Her pain and grief created it, and Vision's not real.
Yeah, she has a second when she sees Vision, like with the gem ripped out of his head and everything,
and all gray.
Yeah,
did that freak you out? That freaked me out.
That was creepy looking. So there are a lot of different theories of the show, and I had thought maybe somebody else was involved, but this was always my favorite theory because it is more in line with the comic books, which is she's just gone completely crazy. And she has these moments when reality reinserts itself, and she is so deep within the illusion, and she's so powerful that she's able to do the rewinds that we saw before, or to shoot Rambeau out of the town. Because Vision has this line to her of, we can move, we can go anywhere we want to. And she's like, no, we can't. This is our home.
Yeah. So I wasn't a fan of the show the first 3 episodes. It was just too much sitcom-y. This episode was clearly a lot less, if at all, sitcom-y. And I enjoyed it, not just because I got some answers, but just because it moved the story along, and I was just getting tired of the Vision Wanda shtick of the long sitcom thing. I really like Jimmy Woo, the agent, when Kat Dennings was like, do you want one? Oh yeah, we talk about it, like a little agent, get him and he's talking about having a son, and then she's like, the chips, and he's like, oh yeah, and he played that so perfectly. So I'm glad they're using him, because he's very funny.
Randall Park's great.
Yeah, and he's funny, whereas Agent Coulson was very straight, you know what I mean? And Samuel Jackson. But I like how he's playing it with humor, which is awesome. And I really liked how they're doing the blip for everybody, because they've never explained that or shown that. You just see Captain America taking on Thanos, and the next thing you know, every Avenger and half of Wakanda shows up through Doctor Strange's time circles, but everyone else, so it kind of shows this hospital, just people just keep appearing left and right, and they're obviously, it's mass confusion and hysteria, and that's when Rambeau finds out her mom died, and she's like, what are you talking about? I was right here. So it felt like a 20-minute nap, those that were blipped for 5 years, according to Rambeau, a 20-minute nap, she just dozed off, which is quite comforting, because when Thanos comes back, and he will, and if I get blipped, I know it's not painless. So I got that going for me.
I mean, I'm kind of the opposite in that I really loved those first 3 episodes, and this one just felt more like I was watching a Marvel movie. And there's enough interesting stuff, and I'm glad we're getting some answers, but I loved the creepiness that would come in those first 3 episodes. When Vision in episode 3 like sees the neighbors talking, and there's obviously like some weird shit going on there that he keeps pressing them on, and they don't want to tell him, and you get the idea that they also don't they know something's wrong, they know something's off, but how much control they have, because there's cool, this one of the scenes I liked in this episode is after the Sword starts watching the show, and first the fact that Vision and Wanda are there, but then they piece together that everybody on the show is somebody from this town who Scarlet Witch has cast in their roles.
And where is this town located?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I put out a tweet, Mike. I was like, the best cameo of episode 4 was New Jersey.
That's great.
I was like, yeah, motherfucker.
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Emily said it herself. Like, she enjoyed the first 3 more than I did. But episode 4 is when it starts, like, coming together, if you will.
Awesome. I'll watch it tonight. Actually, I'm not digressing here, but I may not watch it tonight. I may watch it tomorrow because the Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, Jared Leto movie just came on HBO Max tonight.
Oh, that's right. I want to watch it.
It's called The Little Things. And I know nothing about it, and I don't want to. I'm going to go in blind. But those 3 actors are awesome, so.
Yeah, I will definitely talk about that next show, whether it's a week or 2 from now, 10 days to 2 weeks. We'll definitely cover that, and we'll cover at least 1 more episode of WandaVision, if not 2, and probably 2. So if we do Saturday again, or what's today? Friday?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So usually we do Friday or Saturday. I've been working on this other project I'll tell you guys about eventually on Saturday nights. So it's not a podcast. Something else.
I'm also watching, really quick, I know we're wrapping up, I'm watching The Expanse. I've been following it for a few years. It's gotten really good. It's season 5 now on Prime, and it's like the second to last episode. Both of you guys should check it out if you don't. I think Emily and I talked about it before, but I think she kind of only watched the first season or something, but show is dope. AF. Yeah. Highly recommend.
I finished.
Johnny, you'll like it. You
Expanse? Will. Yeah, I got a long list, but it's on there. I'm almost done with Ozark. I think Sabrina and I have like 2 or 3 episodes left of season 3, and I'm about. I think I'm in season 3 of Halt and Catch Fire, and Emily's right. Like it's like I'm pushing through it, and if I wasn't just so attracted to Mackenzie, whatever her name is, I probably would have stopped a long time ago. But I will say Lee Pace is an underused actor. He's very talented.
I hate him.
Do you really?
I don't even think he's bad. I think he's actually good. They're just actors who you just don't like for whatever reason. I think there's something about him. I want to punch him. Yeah. I don't know anything about him personally. He could be a very nice guy. He's a perfectly fine actor. Whenever I see him, he makes me angry.
He's got a punchy face to you.
Yes.
He's got a punchy face.
His character in *Halt and Catch Fire* is very unlikable. Like, he seems likable for a second, then he screws someone over. He seems likable for a second, then he screws someone over. So like that's just like his character arc. Like he brings you in, he screws you over. And like they even say it in the show, like, how can you trust Joe? And then like so 2 episodes later,
he's like the show's Littlefinger.
Yeah, I can say, yeah, I'd say so.
I started watching Peaky Blinders.
Awesome show.
That's on my list. How is it?
I'm only like 3 episodes in. It took me a while. Like the one thing that's weird is that it is, it's set in the UK in post World War I, but it's got a modern soundtrack. So it's weird to be seeing this like show set in 1919 and suddenly there's a bunch of Nick Cave playing. Like the theme song for the show is Red Right Hand, and that still takes me a minute. It's good. Cillian Murphy's great. Sam Neill is Sam Neill. I love him, but I'm kind of just doing one episode at a time. I'm not binging it at all because it's heavy.
Oh yeah. Worth watching though?
Yeah, it's good.
Yes,
like it's
absolutely.
not only the violence and like the crime stuff, but also like Cillian Murphy, the main character, served in World War I and obviously has tremendous PTSD when that was not a known thing and nobody like it's not something you got help for certainly.
No, he just drinks through it.
And opium.
Yeah, Johnny, I would watch that before The Expanse. I would definitely move Peaky Blinders up on your list. It's one of my favorite Netflix shows of all time.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the shit I need to hear.
Yeah.
Like I need people
would
to
move it
make up my mind for me.
Yeah, like there's even a shitty video game, like a really, really shitty video game, and I just got it because it's Peaky Blinders. Like, the show's awesome.
It's good.
All right, awesome. All right, I think that about does it. So, if you enjoyed this show, I would like you to write in at thepopculturehour@gmail.com, or you can tweet at popculturehour on Twitter. Instagram, I haven't opened that in a long time, but it's there, and it's also at popculturehour. We'll definitely do the Ask Sabrina segment, so DM me questions or email questions, and we'll ask Sabrina. You can ask anything you want, but she won't answer anything you want. So just go in knowing that. And that's about it from me. Emily, where can we follow and find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at EFLind. You can also listen to my Star Wars podcast, The Canto Bight Dispatch, or my Vin Diesel podcast, Vindicated.
What about you, Mr. Michael Pappas?
You can find me at Maximum Paps on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube at Scumbag and Villainy with my buddy Bill Beck, who's the producer of this show. You can find me on the Pop Culture Hour Facebook group. And now, Monday through Friday, you can find me on twitch.tv hanging out in the chat room of the Stock Guy, because I got a new side hobby, trading stocks.
Side hustle.
Yeah.
There's
no more movie tickets, so.
That's funny. And I need a PS5. So, like, if someone can fucking, like, find one for me, I appreciate it. I mean, Jesus Christ.
We could talk about that for another hour. Jesus.
Dude, I every time, like, it's been in my cart 40 times. I can never, like, get past that. Like, I'll click on the link, and it'll say, and I'll hit that button, and then, like, it's like, we're experiencing difficulties, or whatever fucking bullshit.
Whatever happened to the good old days of camping outside of Target and like Toys R Us, for 2 or 3 days and just getting your console? I miss those days.
I don't know. This is annoying.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for you. You follow Soul Links on Twitter and keep your notifications on. They post 2-3 times a day when Best Buy and Walmart do their releases. But even still, the scalpers are really fucking us. They've made over $87 million in profit. Sony came out and said with analytics that scalpers overcharging for their PS5 on eBay and Craigslist and everywhere else. So fuck scalpers and fuck Wall Street. Dude, fuck those guys.
Dude, fuck that guy. All right, that would be it. So I will see you guys soon, and till the next one.
Bye-bye.